Hello, everyone, and welcome to this licensing update for the month of October 2022. Right now, we're going to see if anything and everything that was announced by Microsoft earlier in September and August around outsourcers has been included in the product terms. And when we look at the product terms, we do see that there are a lot of changes, and we want to highlight obviously every one of those. But starting with the first one, where they say that they updated the licensing terms for dedicated hosted cloud services, and changes to support this update have been made throughout the product terms, but the most significant changes are to the outsourcing software management clause in the universal licensing terms for all software, as well as the license model terms for on-premises software. And I give a link, and I'll show the link as well. But if you go to the licensing terms, what you quickly see is that there is an expanded outsourcing software management clause. It used to be already in the product terms, but very small. And they've extended on it by highlighting 3 different items. So the first one is outsourcing on dedicated devices. That was what was already included in the product terms, but right now they have made the language a little bit easier to read. Then they added the flexible virtualization benefit. We spoke of this in a session last month already on what this exactly is, but right now Microsoft describes it as customers with subscription licenses or licenses with active software assurance, including client access licenses, may use licensed copies of the software on devices, including shared servers that are under the day-to-day management of and control of an authorized outsourcer. And an authorized outsourcer is defined as any third-party service provider that is not a listed provider and is not using listed provider as a data center provider as part of the outsourcing service. And especially that last part is new in this definition as well. So an authorized outsourcer means any third-party service provider that is not a listed provider. That was the old definition, as far as I know, and they've added and is not using listed provider as a data center provider as part of the outsourcing service. So this also states that if you are hosting your services with an outsourcer that is using any listed provider, and that can be Amazon Web Services, it can be Alibaba, Google Cloud, then that doesn't count as an authorized outsourcer. So this flexible virtualization benefit, they will only allow it if they're purely an authorized outsourcer. Then outsourcing on cloud solution provider hosters. Customers with subscription licenses or licenses with active software assurance, including client access licenses, may access their licensed copies of software that is provided by a cloud solution provider hoster and installed on that partner's devices. So this is the new clause for the new CSP role hoster, which is a new role that they're going to grant to certain specific partners. And this states that if you buy your licenses through the CSP platform and the CSP partner that you have has this status, then you can use your licenses on their premises. Except as expressly permitted here or elsewhere in the product terms, customer is not permitted to use or access software on devices that are under the management or control of a third party. Well, makes sense. So there's a big difference to the outsourcing software management clause and the authorized outsourcers definition. So to recap, they linked this website, updated Microsoft licensing terms for dedicated hosted cloud services, which was posted August 1st, 2019, apparently, where they state that they'll modify the licensing terms to outsourcing rights and dedicated hosted cloud services. Well, what are they actually doing? We're committed to making Microsoft software available to customers across all environments. Beginning October 1st, 2019, customers can license Microsoft products on dedicated hosted cloud services from the listed providers using the below. Not sure why they're linking this old article when there's newer material available, but they must have a reason to do this. Then if we continue on to Microsoft 365, they added SharePoint Advanced Management, Workload Identities, and Viva Sales to the availability tables, as well as updated license prerequisites table to include these offers. When we look at the page, we see indeed 3 new products have been added to the availability table, and they made some small changes to the terms. These are reflected as well based on the changes they made for outsourcers. So license assignment and Windows use right. Licensed users may only run Windows Enterprise locally on devices, and they removed all this other language. So the licensed users may only run Windows Enterprise locally on devices with a qualifying operating system. They removed the other than the use of Azure Virtual Desktop entire clause. They did that here as well. For Office servers, they removed the dedicated aspect because you can now do it on shared hosting platforms as well. Expanded the prerequisites table with Microsoft Viva Sales to include everything and anything that you can have as a base license in order to buy Microsoft Viva Sales or SharePoint Advanced Management. Viva Sales has an extra clause included where it states that customers must use Viva Sales Connector to integrate with their customer relationship management software. And that is basically it for the Microsoft 365 page. On the Microsoft Azure page, there have been a lot of changes. So let's go through all of them one by one. First and foremost, the Azure Hybrid benefit has been expanded to include subscription licenses or licenses with software assurance, but that was already in there. So they highlighted now that a subscription license or a license with SA entitles you to use Azure Hybrid benefit. Here again. And they added the Windows Server Datacenter Azure Edition use restriction. So customers may use Windows Server Datacenter Azure Edition only as an operating system for virtualization on Microsoft Azure and Azure Stack. This is, I think, already preempting the new product that they're releasing in order for you to be able to buy Windows Server Datacenter subscription licenses purely for hosting in Azure. With the new core grant that they're the Azure virtualization benefit, so to say. They updated the API terms for security. They added applications and compliance applications. Many changes here, but mainly to be better understandable and readable. So security and application or compliance has been written out instead of SNC, which was unclear apparently to a lot of people. And they added the below terms, the following terms and conditions apply to Microsoft Purview, e-discovery APIs, and Microsoft Graph. The end user must have one of the following Microsoft 365 E5 eligible licenses. Microsoft will bill customer for all commercial consumption of the data generated in the review set that exceeds the included monthly seated allowance per end user tenant. Microsoft Teams interoperability for Azure Communication Services has gotten a little overhaul. It now states that interoperability between Azure Communication Services and Microsoft Teams enables your applications and users to participate in Teams calls, meetings, and chat. When Teams users join Teams meetings on the Teams client, then the call is covered by your Teams licenses. When a user makes a call using Azure Communication Services, or when a Teams user makes a call with Azure Communication Services calling SDK, it will be charged based on the fees for Azure Communication Services. They included a messaging application clause. This is being expanded month over month. As far as I know, every month there's new changes to the Azure Communication Services entry in the Azure page. So in the messaging application, these services involve an integration between Microsoft and the underlying carrier, aggregator, or operator. Microsoft must share application details and/or campaign information with the operator. that they meet regulatory guidelines and standards set by the operator, and the operator is the final reviewer and approver of the service of the application. As far as I know, then that's it, I think. Yep. So if we go back here, they removed the Microsoft Intune for education device license from the Microsoft customer agreement page. So this is no longer available in CSP. And the last page that they're highlighting is the Windows Desktop operating system. And that is quite a good one to go through because they changed the Windows 11 multi-tenant hosting to Windows 11 virtualization. And they removed the clauses to the QMTH reference, I should say. Sorry, lack of words. So they removed the need for the qualified multi-tenant hosting partner document in order to be able to do Windows 11 virtualization. So they're basically opening this up to all SPLA and CSP partners with the hoster clause or status, and not just to outsourcers that have the QMTH status. Also here you see that they removed the references to dedicated, as now most things are available on a shared platform as well. Now, if we switch gears to the service provider use rights, or the SPUR, the SPUR has been overhauled into a similar website form as the product terms, and there hadn't been any updates to this in the past. However, the first changes are now present because obviously everything that they're changing in the virtualization terms is currently also applicable to SPLA. So they had to make some changes to the universal licensing terms and the glossary. So in the universal licensing terms, they added a clause on the use of listed providers, which is here. The use of listed providers, customer may use a data center provider, also a definition for data center provider eligible products, or an outsourcing company that is a listed provider or that uses a listed provider as a means of providing services to customer through to September 30th, 2025. So this is the clause that states that after September 30th, 2025, you should have moved away from using an outsourcing company that uses a listed provider for their base services, or to move to a model that allows them to separate the cost of the listed provider from the cost of the outsourcing services that they're granting you. They added some definitions because these weren't defined before in the glossary. So they've added listed provider. It's already present in the product terms. Apparently it wasn't in the SPLA terms. It means any entity identified by Microsoft at this link or any successor site. Well, if you follow that link, you come to a page where you can download in your own language the list of listed providers. And that looks a little bit simple, as it looks like this. And it states that listed providers is a term. And the following are listed providers: Alibaba, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft itself. Then they added the outsourcing company as a definition. Outsourcing company means a third party that, one, performs data center management services or installation services for customers, or two, has an active Microsoft partner identification number, and three, except as expressly permitted in the SPLA, is not a listed provider. Well, makes sense if you ask me. So those were the changes for the product terms and service provider use rights. Finally, there is some new products that have been announced by Microsoft again in the Viva suite. So this was a week ago, a little over a week ago. They announced that they had some new additions to Viva. They already said they launched Viva goals, goal setting and objectives and key results management solution that helps organizations align everyday work to business outcomes. And they have new integrations with Viva goals that bring goals into the flow of work. Then they've announced a new product called Viva Pulse, which is a new app that empowers managers and team leads to seek regular and confidential feedback about their team's experience right in the flow of work in teams. So using smart templates, research-backed questions, and analytics, Pulse enables teams to use their voice to help managers pinpoint what's working well and where to focus. Finally, they introduce Viva Amplify, which is a new app that empowers employee communication teams and leaders to elevate their message and energize their people. The app centralizes communication processes in a single space and offers writing guidance to help messages from every part of the organization resonate with employees. Communicators can then publish to multiple channels simultaneously, manage their campaigns from a central hub, and study resulting metrics to better plan future communications. As you can see, Viva is going to be at the core of everything that Microsoft is doing with Teams. They are positioning this heavily as well in their sales tactics. We've seen a lot of deals that currently need to have Power Apps and some sort flavor of Viva included. So it's best to be knowledgeable about what the entire Viva suite entails, and if it is something that you might be interested in regards to your upcoming enterprise agreement renewal, because it will help you in your discussions with Microsoft. Now, looking ahead, they state that Viva Sales will be generally available as of October 3rd. Well, we already saw it being included in the product terms, so that should work as promised. They're introducing several enhancements that will deliver a more unified experience through Viva. And the innovations announced today will begin rolling out to customers in early 2023. So the new products and the additions to the already existing products will be coming to everyone that wants these in early 2023. Now, that was it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed these broadcasts. If you have any comments or any ideas or anything that I forgot to mention, do leave your feedback as well. Always very curious to see or hear from you. And with that, I want to wish you a very good day and hope to see you again soon.